And now we'll be making our will here itself a properly drafted will. We'll create here. I would still again tell you that you may choose to execute this will or not. It is always better to consult a legal expert, right? This is our way of helping you to create a will. This might not work for you or may work for you, because I don't know your personal situation right now. So everything about you might change. Generally, this will works for most of the people. So I hope all of you have downloaded the document and have opened the document. You need to fill it with me. I'll tell you what to fill in what part. Just keep on filling it. This is your will, which I'm asking you to create. In a similar manner, you can create your spouse's will also, right? But right now, create it for yourself with me, and we'll discuss how to create the spouse will in the question answer session or after this session. Okay, so last will of here, write your name, like I have written my name, and this is my name as per my Aadhaar card or passport. So whatever is your name on your Aadhaar card or passport, write it there. Last will of. Now go below and we start filling this document to create a will. So I Deepak Jain, write your name here. Daughter / son of. Write your father's name here as on his Aadhaar card, passport or any ID proof. And if he is no longer there, write late Shri or something like that. Then write your nationality, that is Indian for me, and your religion. In case of estate planning documents, religion is very important so that I can know which law is applicable on you. So right, I have written Indian, Hindu, you can write whatever your religion is, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Parsi, Jew, whatever. Then your PAN card or Aadhaar card number here, whichever you remember. And if you don't remember any of them, leave it right now, you can fill it later. Aged about, your age last birthday. So last birthday, how many years you have completed, you have to write that age years. Aged about these many years. Permanently residing at, your current permanent address. Your permanent address. Right? In a way that somebody can know which address you are referring to. Need not be very lengthy, but at least the flat number or the house number, street address, city, and pin code number if you remember. On this date, today's date, 9/7/2021, out of my own free will and in a full disposing state of mind, without any coercion, undue influence from anybody, declare this to be my last will and testament. So I am saying that I am made it by my free will, without being forced to do it, without being under the influence of anybody, and this will is my last will and testament as on date. Then it says, I do hereby state as under. What do I state? The first point I state is, I hereby revoke all earlier will, testament, codicils and disposition, if any, made by me orally or in writing, and proclaim this to be my last will. Right? Now, point number 2 is very important. I have to write the name of all my family members here. Before you fill it, please remember, by writing the name of any family member here in this section, that is the second section, I am not giving them property. or I am not making them beneficiaries of my assets. What I am telling is that today my family as per me consists of these people. So that tomorrow, if some of them I do not give any property later in the will, might not claim that while making the will I forgot them, so I missed giving them assets. So I am saying I remembered all of you, and after this, if I am not giving you anything, that is by design, not because I forgot you. So write the name of your mother here if she is alive, right? Her date of birth, ID card number, if you remember her, some identification number you can write or you can fill it later. Then your spouse, then all your children. At least write that much. And if you find this space is less, take the cursor to the last row, last column, and press a tab button. This would increase. The rows would increase till what you want. If you have 5-6 members, you can go up to 5-6, no problem. Right? So just fill the name of all your family members. At least fill the name of your mother if she's alive. Only people who are alive name needs to fill here. People who have passed away need not be mentioned here. So your mother if she is alive, your spouse if she is alive, and all your children who are alive today, those names should be written here at least. Can you write the name of your father, brother, sister? You can if you want to. Name, relationship with you, date of birth. At least this much you would remember for all of them. Maybe PAN card number or Aadhaar card number can be filled later. Okay, so once you have filled this, we go to the third section, which is a very, very important section, where I will appoint executors to my will. And I have to think of two people, my first choice and my second choice. So many of you would be giving or wanting to give all your assets to your spouse after you and then to your children. In that case, generally people appoint their spouse as the executor also, because executor can be a beneficiary. A beneficiary can be an executor. A beneficiary cannot be a witness but can be an executor. So if it's a single beneficiary after you, please make the same beneficiary as the executor also, so that they get the control and the ownership simultaneously after you. Right? Can you make a friend, a lawyer, a chartered accountant as an executor? Yes, you can do that. I have told you the selection criteria to appoint an executor. Somebody who's well-wisher of a family, younger and healthier than you, person of integrity, person whom you can trust, can be appointed as an executor. So I appoint, now this is my first choice. My wife I have appointed, then residing at the address where she is residing, as the executor of this will and trustees of my estate, herein after referred to as an executor and trustee, and if she is unable to act as my executor and trustee for this will, only if she is not able to act, this is my second choice below. So this is my son. I have only one son, so for me the choice was very easy. For you, you will have to choose if you have more than one child. Because I am giving first to my wife, then to my son. So in case she is not there, my son becomes the executor and the owner. So for me, the choice was easy. You have to look for yourself. I appoint this person residing at this address as my successor executor and trustee. And see, below this, I have created a table to clarify things, that this person is my first choice and this is my second choice, successor executor, so that things become very clear. And the last column, please write the ID proof number of the executor and the contact number, if that is a person whom your family might not know, so that they can contact this person easily after you.
Deepak ji, a few questions on the same, on what you are saying now.
Right.
If mother and father are late, then not to write, right? You have clearly said only living people should be mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then should we write the name of the father also in section 2? I think if he's alive, he has to write it.
Yeah, you can write, not necessary, but you can write if you want.
Okay. And can siblings be beneficiaries?
Yes. Anybody can be a beneficiary.
For a married son, should we write his wife and children name?
Not required. Not required.
Okay. Can't a father be included?
In beneficiaries, when I come to beneficiaries, I will tell you. Okay. But in the name of the family members, please don't write. If you want to write, you can write. If it's not necessary to write the father's name.
Okay. For address, I live on rent in a different city. My permanent address is Mumbai. Do I need to mention that rented place detail as well?
No. Write your permanent address. That is more than sufficient.
Okay. Carry on, Deepak ji.
Okay. Now read this paragraph below. It says, I hereby direct that the said executor and trustees shall pay my income tax, wealth tax liabilities, and monetary obligations, including all testamentary expenses in respect of probate and other legal charges, if any, out of the property which I may leave after my death. And the balance of my property shall be collected and dealt with in the manner specified hereinafter. So you are allowing your executor to pay all your liabilities, your obligations, make arrangements for your burial or last rites, make arrangements to implement this will, any legal requirements, they are allowed to pay for it out of the property which you leave. And what is remaining needs to be dealt in the manner specified hereinafter. And the fourth point is, when I am giving this property to people, so disposition of my movable and immovable assets, I bequeath all my immovable and movable assets after my death as below. And first I am talking about my immovable asset, that means the real estate. So suppose the first column you have to write which type of property it is. Like this is an house, so I've written a house. It might be commercial, it might be land, it might be anything. You have to write house, commercial, land, whatever it is. Then you have to give a brief description of the property so that the property is identifiable. I need not give the entire address, the complete address, but address enough to know which property I am talking about, right? Then whether you are owning this property singly or jointly with somebody. If it is single, write singly owned. If it is joint, write the name of the person or people you are owning this property jointly. So joint with these people. Now, whom do you want to give this property? And whom can you give this property or anything in your will? So any property owned by you, whom you are the owner, you can give it to anyone you want, right? Even you can give it to a person who is yet to be born. Leave alone the alive people. You can say to my son's son whenever he is born, until that time my son will take care of it. You can even do that. So you can give it to anybody you want, right? Beneficiary name is the person whom you want this property to be given after you. So write that person's name, and out of your share, what are you willing to give him or her? Suppose I am only willing to give her 50% of my share. So, and remaining, I want to give it to my son, the same property. So I'll copy this below. The entire thing I'll again write, right? And now I write the name of my son here. So remaining 50, so same, I make 2 entries, and now the entire property, my share is given. So if you want to give it to 1 person, 2 person, 3 person, whatever you want, write the name, write the property details again and again, but the total of this for a property should come 100%. That you have to ensure. So only your share is going into this percentage, right? Then write the next property, whom, whether you are owning it singly or jointly, what is the beneficiary name, what is the percentage of your share that beneficiary should have, and what is your relationship with that person. Because I told you physical properties need to be specifically distributed. That's why I'm making a list of these properties, and I am asking you to tell the name of the beneficiary and the percentage you will like them to happen after you. Just write the immovable properties first. And here you can also include properties which you are likely to receive from anybody, including your parents in future. So in future, at the time of your passing away, we will check whether you own that property or not. If you own, it is given to people you have mentioned here. If you don't own that property, nothing happens, no problem. Now you will not be held to account that you wrote it in your will and today it's not in your name. Yeah, that can happen and it's allowed. So these are your immovable assets, real assets. Now let's go further to the next point, which is about movable assets. Movable assets. So whatever is not real estate is movable assets. And see the point which we have created, which says, I bequeath all my shares, mutual funds, bonds, bank accounts, fixed deposits, provident fund, NPS, insurance policies, content of my safe locker, jewelry, business, intellectual property, and any other movable asset owned by me by value. Now you are not specifically giving it, you are giving it by value. On the date of your death, the executor would find the value of that property, that asset, and now you have to tell how much percentage of that asset goes, of the total of these assets go to which person. So you might say that my wife should get 25% and my son should get 75% or 100% to my wife. Whatever way, 100% to my son, 50% to my two sons, whatever way you want, you can give. But you have to ensure that this last column total is 100. Whatever way you divide, everything is okay. But the total should be 100. So financial assets, I am not specifically distributing. I am giving it as a percentage, because here it does not matter if Nestle share goes to one son or Tisco share goes to one person. The value is what matters. So value, it goes in value, person has a choice to liquidate and convert it into whatever way they want. Right, just fill it there. Now I go to point number 5. My executor shall have the power. This is basically point number 5 is your digital assets. Right? So here, whom do you want to have your digital assets? Like I told you, all your mobile phone number, email ID, Facebook page, Twitter accounts, website URL, domain hosting, credit card points, miles, right? Access to your passwords, client data, if you have a business or something like that, all of that is operated by this clause. So yeah.
One related question here. What about equity shares, mutual funds, and demat account? Can this be included in the will of the survivor? In the demat account will inherit the demat account?
It says all my shares. It's already included.
Okay. Okay.
Now digital assets is what we are giving. and whom you want to give, what is the relationship, what is the name of the person, right? And we have explained what are your digital assets, right? You can read that, that virtually covers everything which you own digitally, right? Once you have done this, we go to point number 6. So usually whoever you have given the previous asset, that person you will name in the digital assets only. Now, what happens to your future assets or any asset which by chance you have missed to include in this will? That is called your residuary estate, remaining estate, remainder estate. So whom do you want it to happen? Generally, you will give it to the same person you are giving above, right? Name, relationship, percentage. So these are your future assets or balance assets, which we have not covered in point number 4 and 5. So generally, you will give it to the same person you are giving 4 and 5. So you have to repeat that name. Name, relationship, percentage. I direct my executor to divide all my movable, immovable asset to my residuary beneficiary in the above proportion by value. Right? Now come point number 7. It's very, very important that you understand point number 7. Please fill all of this and be ready to understand point number 7. This is critical. Okay, so let's talk about point number 7. Now, point number 7 deals with a situation where a beneficiary named in point number 4 and 5 passes away before receiving the asset from you. In that case, what should happen? So what I have written is, in case of any of the above beneficiaries mentioned in clause 4 and 5 of this will predeceases me, then the share of that beneficiary will be payable equally by value. We have two choices, either to child of children of that predeceased beneficiary only. That means suppose I have named my son there and my son is not there, so son's children would get it. Or you can write spouse, child and children of that predeceased beneficiary here. Or you can write class 1 legal heirs of that predeceased beneficiary. You have three choices. If you want to restrict it only to the children of your children or of your wife, if you have named the wife only as beneficiary, then write child and children of that beneficiary. If you want to include the spouse of your children also, if you have named children above, then write spouse, child and children equally. If you don't want to include spouse, write child and children. Or if you want to have a overall definition, include class 1 legal heirs of that predeceased beneficiary. So class 1 legal heirs generally would vary from whether that predeceased beneficiary is a male or a female. In case of male Hindu, it would be mother, wife and children. If it is a female, it would be husband and children, and whoever among these are surviving. So just do what you want. So you have three options here: child or children, spouse, child and children, spouse and child and children, or class 1 legal heirs. Right? It is up to you. How do you want to do that? The same word which you have written here, you have to write it here. In case there are no child and children of that predeceased beneficiary, then that share will be divided to the surviving residuary beneficiary as per this will. So in case that person passes away without leaving a child or children, then remaining beneficiary which I am named above will get it. It goes to the surviving residuary beneficiary, remaining beneficiary. Now I come to point number 8. As long as I am alive, I shall remain the absolute owner and shall enjoy without the participation, interference of anybody in respect of all my movable and immovable property, inclusive of the residential house of every description during my lifetime. Right? So I am the owner. I continue to be owner even after making this will. I have clarified that. And point number 9, very important point. Some people are very concerned that people might challenge their will. For these kind of problems or anticipated problems, we have created this point number 9, which basically says, okay, sorry. The point number 9 is not about this, it's about the minor child. Sorry. Point number 10 is about the challenge part. So point number 9 is basically, if a minor becomes a beneficiary due to any reason, the executor has the power to give it directly to the guardian of the minor without court interference. Otherwise, it's a very long-term process. Court come into picture, they try to control those assets and things like that. So I have given the power to the executor to give it to the guardian of the minor child if there is a minor beneficiary for any reason above. Maybe your child who is a major passes away and now his children become the beneficiaries, so they don't have to go to court and get this amount dispersed in their way. Point number 10 is what I was discussing before. If anybody attempts to contest or oppose the validity of this will, they will get nothing from this will. This is what I have written. So either you agree to what I have written in this will and take it, and if you want to challenge, you can challenge. But if you lose that challenge, then my executor will give you nothing. Whatever you are getting, even that is taken away. So it's a paper tiger I have created so that people are demotivated challenging this will. If any person shall in any manner, directly or indirectly, attempt to contest or oppose the validity of this will, including any amendment made to this will, or commences, continues, or prosecutes any legal proceeding to set this will aside, then such person shall forfeit his or her share, cease to have any right or interest in any of my property, and shall for purpose of this will deemed to have predeceased me. Then point number 11 is, if one of these provision for any reason for any subsequent change of law becomes invalid, the other provisions remain valid if they can be implemented. The 12th provision is, nobody except me shall have any right to amend or cancel this will. Right? After this, now see the yellow points. So in witness hereof, I have set my hands to this will at place. Like I am in Delhi, I have written Delhi. You are in Mumbai, right? Mumbai, Chennai, Calcutta, whatever. In presence of witness on this date, and this date you have to write in words. The day when you are implementing this will, executing this will. If it is 9th of July 2021, you write in words. Signed and acknowledged by within name testator. Here write your name again. Now what I am telling you should not be done right now, but I am just telling how you should do. Once you have done this, all of this, take a printout of this will on a plain paper. Take a printout of this will on a plain paper. A4 size is more than enough, right? Need not be of a legal size. And once the printout is out there, this blank space which you see here, you have to put your signatures in front of the witnesses. Please remember, the witness should be there when you are signing this will. They should be there. And in case both the witness cannot be together there, you sign the will in front of the first witness and make the first witness countersign it. When the second witness comes, again sign the will in front of the second witness and again get the signature. So both the witness should see you signing the will. But when it goes to the court, one of them, if he has not seen, would say, "मैंने नहीं देखा, वो पहले से sign किया हुआ था. It was signed before me." That situation, why leave it to chance? Sign 2 times, no problem. You write your name, you write your PAN card or Aadhaar card number, date when you are signing it, and your full address. This is how you created your will. Now you have to decide on other parts of the will which I am just sharing with you. So this is how you have created your will. Now further, you need to sign on all pages of the will in presence of both the witness. Ask the two witnesses to sign the will in presence of each other. That's better. But if you cannot do that, I've told you how to get it there signed singly. Decide on where to store the will. Very, very important. So it might, usually it is done with the executor, with a copy given to the executor. You can get it to a sub-registrar office and get it registered. In that case, the sub-registrar becomes, the government becomes the custodian of the will. So try to get the will registered at the local sub-registrar office. But even if you don't get it registered, you have signed it, countersigned by two witnesses, it's a valid document. The registration of will only improves the challenging power of the will. So a registered will is difficult to challenge than a non-registered will. But a non-registered will, as per law, is totally a valid executable document. Right? So this is how to execute a will. Now, let me tell you also that making a will is one part of estate planning. Generally, a person would require these 4 estate planning documents with him. A will, if they have a minor child, a letter of guardianship, so that they can appoint guardian of person and assets of their minor child in case both they and their spouse pass away while the child is minor. A financial durable power of attorney to take care of a situation where you have not passed away, but you are incapacitated either mentally or physically, so that somebody has the power to access your wealth and use it for the betterment of your and your family, because in case you are incapacitated, you would not be in a position to take financial decisions. So you are giving that authority only in situations when you are incapacitated to somebody through a document called financial durable power attorney. And a living will, which is the latest document in this series of documents which are required. A living will is basically a document which allows you to take end of life decisions. So suppose you are in coma on a ventilator for more than say 15 days with no chance of surviving, less than 5% chance of coming out, and doctors keep you artificially alive for the simple reason they don't have any other option and they know nothing about your desires. So by creating a living will, you can while you are okay, you are in good health, you would have told that in certain situations and these situations, switch off the ventilator, withdraw life support, keep on giving me painkillers, etc., and let me die peacefully without pain. So that thing you can implement through a living will. So what I want to tell you is, making a will, you should not think that you have done your estate planning. It's a very important part, but it's not the only document required for your estate planning. Right? Okay. That was all from my side.